Hi there, let's have a look at coastal management, starting with coastal defences hard engineering. Hard engineering strategies aim to reduce the effects of flooding and erosion by building man-made structures that control the sea's flow. Examples of hard engineering strategies include groins, which are stone or wooden fences that stick out at 90 degrees to the coast. They stop material being transported long distances by longshore drift. They create wider beaches, which slows down waves and so reduces erosion and flooding. They are also relatively cheap. But beaches further down the coast get narrower, which means waves are not slowed down and erosion and flooding are more likely. Rock armour. Rock armour is simply a pile of boulders. It reduces erosion by absorbing the energy of waves. They're also relatively cheap, but strong waves can displace the boulders. Gabions are wire cages that are filled with rocks. They reduce erosion by absorbing the energy of waves, and their construction is cheap and easy, but they're an eyesore and the cages can become corroded. Seawall. Seawalls are made out of hard materials that reflect waves. They prevent coastal erosion and flooding, but they create a strong backwash that can undercut the wall, and they are expensive to build and maintain. Let's just quickly recap that. What are stone or wooden fences built at 90 degrees to the coast? The answer is groins. Quickly run through the different examples of hard engineering coastal defences again. There's gabions, rock armour, sea walls, and groins. Now let's have a look at soft engineering. Soft engineering strategies aim to reduce the effects of flooding and erosion using our understanding of the sea. Examples of soft engineering strategies include dune regeneration. Dune regeneration involves the creation or restoration of sand dunes. This can be achieved through nourishment or planting vegetation. Sand dunes absorb wave energy and so reduce the risk of erosion and flooding. Also, stabilising sand by planting vegetation is cheap, but only a small area is protected and nourishment is expensive. Beach nourishment and reprofiling. Beach nourishment and reprofiling involves moving material to the upper sections of beaches from elsewhere. This slows down waves by widening beaches and so reduces the risk of erosion and flooding. Removing sand and shingle from the seabed that threatens certain organisms, like corals, and it's also expensive and needs to be repeated. Let's quickly run through those again. All the different examples of soft engineering coastal defences. They are dune regeneration and beach nourishment and reprofiling. Which of the following is a soft engineering coastal defence strategy? Rock armour, gabions, groins, or dune regeneration? Correct answer is dune regeneration. Now let's have a look at managed retreat. In managed retreat, coastal defences are removed and the sea is allowed to flood the coastline. Eventually, the flooded land will turn into marshland, which will reduce the amount of flooding and erosion experienced by the land behind it. The advantages are it's simple and cheap, no maintenance is needed, and the marshland that is created provides animals and plants with new habitats. But the disadvantages are that conflicts can arise based on which areas are allowed to flood, and salt water from the sea can negatively impact the current ecosystems already there. So just quickly recap that. In managed retreat, coastal defences are removed and the sea is allowed to flood the coastline. What are the different characteristics of managed retreat? Is it easy or difficult? It's easy. Does it create meadows or does it create marshland? It creates marshland. Is it cheap or expensive? It's cheap. And is maintenance needed or is it maintenance free? The answer is maintenance free. Managed retreat is essentially just letting the sea carry on as it would without any intervention. Let's quickly look again at examples of hard engineering coastal defences. There's rock armour, which is piles of boulders, sea walls, which are made out of hard materials that reflect waves, gabions, which are wire cages filled with rocks, and groins, stone or wooden fences built at 90 degrees to the coastline. A cost of beach what and reprofiling is that sand what from the seabed threatens certain organisms such as corals and sponges. A cost of beach nourishment and reprofiling is that sand and shingle from the seabed threaten certain organisms such as corals and sponges. In managed retreat, what do the flooded sections of coastline eventually turn into? Is it marshland, quicksand, seas, or spits? Correct answer is marshland. Let's quickly look again at the examples of different soft engineering coastal defence strategies. There's beach nourishment and reprofiling, which involves moving material to the upper sections of beaches from elsewhere, and dune regeneration, which involves the creation or restoration of sand dunes.